Yo, it's Corey here at Floodway, and today I want to talk about teardowns. The process the screen goes through after it's done on press, but before it goes to reclaim. Now, I just want to share how I get it done here and how we spend more time with our clients and less effort on this process, which can be pretty messy and pretty time consuming. So let's dive right in here. Now, the first thing I want to cover is the area. Now, the setup, notice I've got this in a U shape here. So everything from the screens to the ink, the screens are here, the ink, the Sherlock squeegee cleaner, everything is right here within reach, no stepping, and that is pretty critical, right? No motion waste, walking around, moving stuff between stations, it's all right here, ready to tear down. I just mentioned the Sherlock squeegee cleaner, and this thing is pretty great, a luxury I might even say. I run straight up easy weight 801 in it, and I've tried some other stuff, it didn't work as good. Most notably, I tried stuff mixed with water, which I saw recommended, but I think just the straight up easy way 801, 100% works great, as you're gonna see. One thing I love to keep in teardowns is a plunger can. It soaks the rag with straight up easy way 801. Again, tried it with water, wasn't so good. Tried other stuff with water, wasn't so good. This works great on stuff that just needs a scrub, when it's really caked on, which, wouldn't be a problem if I was tearing down screens a little sooner after press. But when it is a problem, I like to have this around, give it a good scrub without spraying it. There's no spray bottle of anything around here. Okay, so the last thing I want to cover before tearing the screen down is just the little doodads that are kept around here as well. So first is chunks of squeegee, like little credit card sized chunks. I think this is the best thing for tearing down plastisol. A little more on that later when I'm tearing the screen down. The other thing we have here is a vise. Now, this is just for, remember I mentioned the scrubbing? Sometimes you just need to scrub certain jobs down more than others if it's been left for a while, some white ink caked or whatever. So this thing, I don't even have it bolted down, but just being able to attack it with two hands, from having rags right here, which is another thing, clean rags, dirty rags, but just being able to attack it with two hands instead of holding it with one hand and kind of working against your other wrist, just lets anybody be able to do the job, lets you be able to do way more squeegees in a row without getting tired or whatever. So, working smarter, not harder, simple stuff like that. And other than that, we've got the waste box for the gloves. I don't really wear gloves as a personal challenge to myself, but gotta have the team wearing PPE, so this is where we recycle those gloves. It's pretty sweet. Once this box is full, you just send it back. They deal with it all, because those gloves are apparently pretty crappy for the landfill and not recyclable. The other thing is a tape box, not a garbage bag, because the tape sticks to the bag. So this box just lets you ball it in there, crunch it up real tight until it's ready to go. So that is pretty good as well. And that's it. So let's dive in here. I'm going to set this up, tear a screen down, and just cover some of the details I'd talk about if I was like training somebody to do the job or whatever, just some of the nuanced stuff while actually tearing it down. So let me set that up and we'll get to it. Okay, so here we are. This is nice and cozy, eh? Now, I'm just going to dive in here, like I said, tear the screen down, and talk some crap while I do it. And I'd love for y'all to let me know in the comments if if you see any way I could do this safer, simpler, faster. That's kind of the order I'm judging things here, because can't really increase quality for the customer here. That's kind of off the table, but safer, simpler, faster, that's what I'm looking for with all these little improvements, keeping all this stuff close by and blah, blah, blah. So, here we go. Now, this is black ink. I've got some black ink right here, because this is our spot that we keep the ink. It comes in off press, gets stacked up here. Now, part of this process sucked, and before the video, I guess my improvement of the day was figuring out kind of how to bring more than three ink containers at a time. So check this out. I built this little caddy. It's not so good because they're a little close together, but you can just lift that up, pop it right down. And that'll let me take them over there. It's like 10-15 steps around over to the ink wall where all the colors go back, but stuff like black we'll keep up here for reuse because we use it pretty much every day. So first things first, like I said, the squeegee. This thing is awesome. Just lets you get a ton of ink out of the screen. It's one of those things like, what better tool to shear ink out of your screen than squeegee, right? That's what we use all day. There we go, right? I already got some ink on my finger. Like I said, that's my kind of personal challenge. It means that I've had some sort of struggle, you know, that maybe the tool's not right or something's going on there, but just get that off my hand. Yo, stop the presses, hold up really quick. I was filming this B-roll and I realized I forgot to show this trick when I was tearing down the black ink. I was talking about the squeegee, how good it is to tear down. I tore down all the ink with it instead of like my typical process, which is to leave all the ink in until the squeegee and tools are taken down, because when there's a lot of ink in it, like there is here, can you see this huge chunk of white plastisol? When there's a lot of ink in it, my favorite, fastest way to get it out of the screen is to scoop it with the cup. And you can get all around the edge. And you can do that without making a mess. And you can get the first like 80% of the ink out of here. And then you won't get ink on your finger like I did with the black ink, right? Because there's really not that much left to scoop out. Pretty good, right? Little thing for the squeegee, so I was trying to keep one side clean. It's kind of my finger side, right? So when I put that down, I'm always putting the ink side down so that clean side stays clean. So something I wanted to mention here is that you notice I'm doing squeegee, tools, and the screen all at once. Now the reason for that is because I don't want to be doing separate trips or moving tools around. You know, if you have a squeegee cleaning process and a screen teardown process, that means someone's grabbing this ink twice. It's going to two different places, or these tools are getting moved somewhere else. I just like having everything right here in front of me so I can kind of get her going, right? All in one step, one piece flow. So got a bunch of ink off here as much as I can with this squeegee. And then she's ready for the squeegee cleaner. Now I'm gonna do a close-up of this, I guess, some B-roll with like the rest of these screens here. But you'll notice I'm not spinning this thing. I think that's pretty critical. It's designed to spin, but this really helps it just not splash. And all it really needs is just kind of a little scrub in there to get into the corners. And then we've got the rag right here and can wipe it down if the rag's actually clean. This one's kind of spreading some other colors on it, but that's okay, because it'll all come off. And then, you know, sometimes if there's some staining, that's where this plunger can will come in. So I'll just get a little dollop of it and wipe those stains off. That's what keeps them looking brand spanooch. Beautiful like that. And that'll just go right here. Keep my rag nearby, because it's not toast yet. And then we'll do the squeegee. So you'll see how good, you know, takes off pretty much all the ink there. I really like these things. Now, not to make this a anti-teardown card thing, but I'm gonna go get one just to explain why I don't like them. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so these disposable teardown cards are great, don't get me wrong, I do use them. Well, I got them for Plastisol ink and I retired them. I just didn't like them for the reasons I'll explain. But I do still use them on the poster press because they're great for like thin inks, water-based inks. But for Plastisol, my problem first is that they're disposable. But the big thing is that it's really hard to scrape all the ink off. And even if you do get a lot of it off, you're still throwing a ton of uncured Plastisol ink into the garbage, into the landfill, and that's not that good. And you know, frankly, if you look at this, it doesn't do as good a job as the squeegee does. Because when this comes in behind it, just cleans it up with barely any effort, right? So that's a big reason I do not use them over here in teardowns. Man, I don't know what to do with this. I guess you can wipe these off too. I wouldn't recommend reusing them, but wipe it off before you throw it out, I guess. But then you're still just buying something, and these squeegees are really easy to clean. I'll show you that maybe in a little B-roll clip as well. So where's my garbage? I guess we don't have a garbage over here, just the tape thing. Anyway, back to this squeegee. Same thing in the squeegee cleaner. Just a little back and forthy in it. Grab my rag, get that stuff off of there. Now, when this is done, this is a great time to do a quick little inspection for squeegee sharpness. And I don't know, the rule of thumb, no pun intended, is that if you can feel your fingerprint on it, that's like pretty much sharp enough. So kind of just do that little test. If you have a squeegee sharpener, another luxury, I got one recently, used obviously. If you have a squeegee sharpener, it is great time to bash it on there before it goes back on the squeegee rack. And if you don't have a squeegee sharpener, you know, flip that thing around, change it out, do what you gotta do. Sharp squeegee makes a huge difference in how ink transfers onto t-shirts. So look, we're almost done. So I'm just getting the last little scraps out of here because we want to put the least amount of ink in here as we can. This is going to reclaim next, and we want to pass perfection forward. We want to make sure this thing is crispy clean because we don't want to have an inspection step at the beginning of every process down the line. We don't want our people, you know, inspecting the work. We'd rather have ourselves inspecting the work as we're doing it, make sure we're passing perfection forward, because it's way easier for us to inspect it, the people who are actually doing it, to just do a good job, than it is for the next person to always be watching for defects sent from down the line. So this thing looks good to me. I'm going to tear this tape off. This is something I like to teach people. It's just grab it, both pieces, and go corner to corner. You can grab the whole thing and just give it a little shake and shove it into the tape thing. Next thing is the tape all on the bottom. We're going to take all this off. You can use the stickiness of the tape to peel the next piece. And that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna wrap this up, show you the finer details of all this stuff I talked about, but I would love to know if you have any comments, quote your teardown process. What do you think I could be doing faster? What do you think I could make simpler? What could we be doing, you know? Because no one pays us as t-shirt printers to tear down screens. So the more our employees can spend on things that are actually value added, like printing shirts, catching shirts off the, you know, stuff that the customer actually needs, stuff that pushes orders through the process, the more time they can spend focusing on value added activity, the better. And the more efficient we can be at stuff like this, the better. You know, there's no effect on quality of the customer by dialing this in. So these are the types of things I really like to dig into, is how can we get this dialed? Because, you know, the first time I timed it, it turned out this was taking longer than reclaim was, so per screen. So it's definitely somewhere that needs attention, right? Because I was putting a lot of attention on reclaim, but teardowns is important as well. So let me know what you think. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. See ya in the comments. Try and answer everyone who leaves one down there.